How's it going, guys? My name is Roland from the Chicago Synth Exchange. Today we're going to be talking about one of the greatest classics of 1982 and its modern day counterpart, the Roland SH-01A, and obviously the Roland SH-101. So let's start by talking about the Roland SH-101. The 101 was released in 1982. It's supposed to be kind of an affordable mono synth that anybody could really get their hands on. Came with the famous key strap that unfortunately we don't have on this unit, but this is one that I've seen in one of the best conditions that I've ever seen an SH-101 in, because they are plastic, so they could kind of get banged up a bit. This one's pretty awesome. As you can see, you start off with the oscillator. Voltage controlled oscillator has two wave shapes plus a sub oscillator and noise. So you have a square, sawtooth, and a sub oscillator, which plays a sub an octave below, 2 octaves below, or 2 octaves below with pulse width. And you could actually blend the level of these oscillator shapes together. You could also modulate the pulse width of this square with the LFO manually, or just like the Juno 6 and the 60, you have the option to use the envelope as well, which you get some pretty wide sounds with that. Love it. A little example. When it's manual, more nasal, but you could actually kind of control that motion with this envelope. So gorgeous, gorgeous sound. And you could also use an LFO as well. So again, very wide. I typically like to use the envelope for sounds like this. And then we go into the filter. This is the very, very famous Roland IR3409 filter. You could find that filter ever since starting off with the Jupiter 4, Jupiter 8. I believe the Jupiter 6 also had it, and obviously the first two Junos had that as well. The 106 kind of has it. Kind of a little debate regarding like the chipset that it has, but I still consider the 106 in that circle as well, and a whole bunch of other synths from that period. So you do get that very famous Roland swampy sort of sound, which is one of my favorite filters on the planet. And then on the envelope, we have three settings: gate, trigger, gate, and LFO. Normally I leave it on gate and trigger, and it's a 4-stage attack, decay, sustain, and release. Pretty standard, not much else to it. And then if we go back to the LFO, you have triangle, square, and then random, which is sample and hold. And then you have the light indication for what the rate is. If we take a look at this, you're able to control the pitch, the filter, and the LFO modulation strength by pushing this guy up. And then you're able to control, or you're able to transpose the keyboard low, medium, or high. And then you have portamento or glide over here, and this is where you control the volume. So now we're going to talk about the Roland SH-01A. So this is their sort of answer to remaking the SH-101. Right off the bat, this is actually a digital engine using Roland's ACB analog circuit behavior patented technology. I think they nailed it on this. They definitely cracked a few of these guys open to really kind of study what makes a 101 sound like a 101, and they got a lot of that behavior from, you know, the oscillator, the filter, the envelopes, which are really well known on this for being super snappy. And it actually has the same layout, but it has a few other enhancements as well. So as you can see on the real 101 right here, we have the option to go between 16 feet, 8 feet, etc. Over here you start all the way down at 64 and you can go up to 2. So you have a lot larger of a range to choose from for whenever you want to start off. The oscillator is basically the exact same thing, square/pulse, saw, and then the sub oscillator, which allows you to get, again, go 1 octave down, 2 octaves down, or 2 octaves down with pulse width. You have the noise generator here, exact same filter over here, and you have the envelope. And they both have the same sequencer, which is, again, world-renowned. Absolutely adore it. But one thing that this guy offers that the original 101 does not have, and I think it's because this guy's digital as well, is that you have 4 voices of polyphony on this. This is a mono synth. You only have 1. They did get rid of the bender, the famous Roland bender that's beloved, but then they got this clever system over here to control that kind of feels the same way. Again, it has a physical aspect to it, but you have these little ribbons over here that you could assign if you want to control the oscillator, the filter, or the modulation the exact same way. The LFO, again, you have those same attenuators that you can control, oscillator tuning, and the filter movement and the pulse width. It does come with patch storage as well, which is really nice, which the original did not. Obviously, Roland added quite a bit to this unit compared to the vintage counterpart, mainly because of how technology progresses, right? You can't really release a synth, especially a modern one, without MIDI. So this one has MIDI, both USB, and it has 5-pin on the back, as you can see over here. The 101's a great way, or the SH-01A is a great way to really just learn how a synth is supposed to kind of operate, because the signal flow is clearly laid out. Super easy to get used to. Give me a call. My name's Roland, spelled exactly the same way as this, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out.